A hilly sprint stage in the Vuelta a España today, but maybe some crosswinds could spice up the stage or a strong breakaway. I mean, the hills were pretty difficult. The last one's 10 minutes. The entry is a right-hand corner straight into a 1K 10% wall on a very narrow road. Positioning would be very important there. But it's 174 Ks from Falset Costa Dorada to Roquetas Terres de l'Herbe, and we saw with 114 Ks to go, this is a pretty unusual composition, shape, attitude of a peloton with 2.5 hours left because of the wind. We're near the coast. We're not right on there, but when we do have the flat area here, which doesn't have hills like blocking the wind from the coast, like we had a little bit in Narbonne, you can have crosswinds. That's why even though the gap was 1 minute, the peloton was not concerned about the breakaway. They were concerned about being in position because Ineos send it in the first section of crosswinds. There's a couple of splits. We then turn right. When we go along a canal, there the wind was a pretty good direction with cross tailwind. Visma try as well a couple of times. Pedersen bringing Skjelmoser through. And this action just brings back the breakaway. Here's that canal I was talking about where if the wind was blowing a little bit stronger, we could have had crosswinds. I think it was designed here for the specific reason this stage went through here to have the wind make the race exciting. But despite some splits, despite Hayter being on the wrong side of the echelon, it all calms down. Too many villages, not strong enough wind. And Hayter very smartly goes off the front of the peloton because now there's no breakaway and the intermediate sprint was about 15 Ks ahead, and he just takes the 20 points for free, and Van Aert comes second in that sprint, taking some more points, so showing his ambition still for the green jersey, and with 56 Ks to go, there's no breakaway, so Visma don't have to really use Armirail to pace anymore, just to position, and the first couple of climbs are on a big road, like really big, the peloton's 8 to 10 across, 38 Ks to go. The only, I guess, hard bits with the 500 meters to the top because a big fight for position would begin. Krohn did anticipate, he got brought back right here before the descent entry into the last climb. Pogačar entering in good position, Tarling positioning only very, very well in the white jersey. Visma with about 5 riders in the top 20 positions. And here we have 4 riders, none of whom really want to attack. Pogačar might, but he just doesn't feel like it. Kuss and Only are just there chilling. Tejada, I think, was looking for a Paris-Nice type situation. Enter in good position, hope another team makes the pace really hard. Pedersen is, in fact, dropped. But the group didn't get as thin as I thought it would. I thought it might go down to 35, 40 riders. It was much bigger than that, and so Tejada didn't get the opportunity to attack when there's no domestiques left. And we also have a headwind to the finish. UAE then just take control. They weren't interested in dropping riders. They're just keeping Pogačar safe with 3 riders in front of him for the descent. And so here, Sivakov hears, I think, the word to lower the pace. The pace comes down a bit. Visma weren't taking control actively to set a pace, and so Asperen sees an opportunity, the TT rider on Pinarello Q365. He tries on the uphill little kicker. The group that was dropped with Magnus Cort doesn't come back because of that kicker, and then he goes again in the descent. UAE let him go. Van Aert tries to bridge across, also with a Bora there and a quick step chasing. Now that was interesting. Why is a quick step chasing? This should be all about Visma controlling for Brennan, but actually Alberto Dainese made the split, or the group, and I think it was Fabio Van den Bosch, who's been very good for quick-step this year in the lead-outs. He was chasing. Laporte goes across to Asperen and with Tejada, so neither of them want to ride with Laporte, and then Visma take control, going to the sprint. But Mayos is there as well. So we got Jordi Mayos survived. Brian Cocar's there, of course. We have Romele, Albanese for EF Education, Easy Post, and yeah, it just looks like a Vuelta sprint, doesn't it? Where it's basically 2 small climbers can lock down the stage until the last 3Ks, and then the lead out somewhat begin. Ivan Romeo trying to position Aular, but he gets off the wheel a little bit. NSN were going for Hofstetter, I think. But here you see Leknesson speaking to the man in front of him on Uno X, I think saying ease up too early. The guy gave too much gas, but he was done now with 2.2 Ks to go, leaving Leknesund on the front with Tiller, which is far too early. So Leknesund tries to stay in front, but Tiller, he slides back. I don't know whether to find a good sit or whatever, but he loses a lot of positions here. He doesn't find or fight for the wheel of Brennan. He gives that up, and Mayos takes the wheel of Brennan, Albanese behind him, and basically these positions barely change for the next mile. Legnesson looks back. Probably the Visma jerseys look kind of similar to the Uno X jerseys. Seriously, I think that might have been a contributing factor. You see like a lot of yellow jerseys and you've at maximum heart rate and you just kept going, which made things somewhat simple for Visma Leaserbike. Van Aert takes over with 700 meters to go. We got a corner, a right-hander at 250. Laporte comes underneath him in anticipation of that corner. Mayus is taking the wheel of Brennan. Laurence is about fifth wheel through that corner with Aulard there. And Brennan loses the wheel of Laporte a bit through the corner. Laporte took the corner faster, kicks out of it at 200. And then comes out of the wheel of Laporte with like 75 meters to go. So pre-regulation sprint for Brennan. The lead out was obviously pretty good, and he beats Mayus for his second stage win of the week. Mayus second, not much more he could probably have done, and then Romelli and Albanese fought for the third spot on the stage. I think Aula got relegated. There was a moment when he was fighting for a wheel, I think a K back. So yeah, Mayus second, Albanese third, then Romelli, Laurence, Aula, Laporte, Dainese, Vitorat, Gonzalez. Here's what the young Brit had to say.
Being a sprinter with lead-out men who have already won a lot, is this a dream job?
Yeah, it's not a bad one. It's better than a normal day job, but yeah, it's fantastic. Like second one in the bag, first one, first Grand Tour, and yeah, you can see throughout the day everyone just went full. So I'm just very thankful to finish it off again, and yeah, I think the boys are also quite relieved.
Take us back to this half last kilometer. Was it textbook?
Yeah, it was pretty spot on, to be fair. Yeah, we had the two boys pulling on front until the final few K, and then yeah, Wyatt and Christoph, probably some of the, in fact, the best guys you can have in the world for this type of thing. And they were supporting me all the way into the final. Last corner, I lost my wheel a bit. The paint was a little bit slippery, but thankfully I stayed safe. And yeah, Christoph also felt that a little bit, and yeah, managed it really well. So glad we could finish with the arms in the air.
You came to your first Grand Tour knowing that it was a Grand Tour with not much for sprinters. After 5 stages, you already have 2. It's more than you expected.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a sprinter, but I can climb a little bit. So I think on this type of terrain it works really nicely, and especially with the support that I have here. You know, even Stevie and Bruno, these guys were just so strong. And yeah, when you've got these guys with you, you know, it really gives you the confidence to go and try and achieve more.
In terms of GC, no changes, which is always good in a stage like this. It means no one crashed or had an issue. Pogacar still leading by 3 minutes 21. The podium guys all within 25 seconds to a minute of each other, frankly. I mean, it's less than a minute covering second position to 10th on GC. So we might have a breakaway tomorrow. Will Pogacar go for it on the gravel? Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see the recap of stage 6 then. Ciao, ciao.